Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was this achievement?
You know, Skip, I'm gonna give it an 8. For the simple fact is that a lot of times, we've always said this, that, you play a long time, you're going to accumulate stats. But Tom Brady has played great in his 20s. He's played great in his 30s. He's played great in his 40s, the first half of his 40s. So I will concede that he's played at an extremely high level for a very long time. He's been a great player for a very long time, and we should not minimize that by saying it's just a longevity award. Yes, you can do things for a long time, but that don't mean you're good at it. Sometimes people be on the job for 30 years, and they just show up just to say, I showed up.
True.
And they hadn't been very good at the job. But Tom Brady has been great. But, Skip, I think I'll be remiss if I didn't say Tom Brady is playing in an era that's been very beneficial, not only to Brady, but to all quarterbacks with the rule change and the protection that they've afforded the quarterback and the wide receiver.
Yep.
If you look at here's something that I did not know until I was going through the stats this morning. In Tom Brady's first 9 years as a quarterback in the NFL, he only had one season in which he threw 30 touchdown passes or more. That was that magical season in 2007, Skip, when he threw 50. And then over the next 11 years, he's averaged 32. Which will be even more this year. So that just, and what happened is that all of a sudden the rules, the protection for the quarterback, you could only hit the quarterback in his numbers, no below the waist, nothing to the head, and the receivers. They put what they use the term, Skip, they didn't change the rules, they put an emphasis on the contact to the receiver, the defenseless receiver. So Tom has benefited from that. John Elway played 16 years. He threw 300 touchdowns. Joe Montana played 16 years. He threw, I think, 273. So are you telling me Brady is twice the quarterback these guys are? I refuse to believe that, Skip. So, look, I'm going to give him his credit. He wasn't great, terribly efficient yesterday, 20 of 36. But when he got in the red zone, he cashed every time. And that's what he's been very, very good at this year. And now they're just like, you know what? We're going to get him this MVP. We're going to pad these numbers. It's going to take somebody 25 years before they even think about breaking this quarterback pass. But for me, and I might be the only one in this camp, I think LeBron passing Kareem will be more impressive than Brady throwing for 600 touchdowns.
Do you?
For the simple fact, Skip, LeBron doesn't get credit if he passes the ball to Melo and Melo puts the ball in the basket. He only gets credit if he puts the ball into the basket. So he throws the ball to Mike Evans. Mike Evans breaks 5 tackles, goes 80 yards. Tom Brady gets credit for a touchdown. Well, Mike Evans did all the work. LeBron has to put the ball in the basket in order for him to get the credit. So for me, in order to pass Kareem, that means LeBron would have had a very long career, but he would have had to be extremely productive. So for me, Tom Brady should be applauded for this record because I don't take it lightly. I know what it's like to play in this league and to play at a high level for an extremely long time. But for me, I believe LeBron passing Kareem would be more impressive than Brady throwing 600 touchdowns.
Okay. When you first began your soliloquy to open the show,
Yes.
I actually thought that for once you were going to give Tom Brady his due on such a hallowed day when he was the only human ever to throw 600 touchdowns.
Did I not do that? I gave him an 8.
You gave him an 8 on a scale of 10.
Yes.
When this is obviously, if I could go to 11, I would, but we said it's a scale of 10. But I'm still going to go to 11.
No, you can't go to
10.
11. It's a scale of 10.
Because this was extraordinary. This is an all-time great achievement. And this is highly more impressive than LeBron eventually, and I'm going to knock on wood for him, if he stays healthy.
Right.
We had a little incident last night we're going to talk about where he went down and then he bounced up. It's Lazarus. He rose from the dead.
There you go.
He leads the league in melodrama, the melodrama king.
You saw the man fall into his knee.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, I'm very happy LeBron bounced up and played the whole rest of the game. But the point is that what Brady is doing, and remember, he's not finished yet. He wants to play, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, who knows how many more years he might play. And yet, what he has accomplished in 20 years, you're in the Hall of Fame, tight end, and you caught 62 touchdown passes in the regular season in 14 seasons. And now in his 20th season, he has eclipsed 600. He's up to 602 and counting. Because I predicted, and I believe he will back me up, I believe he's going to be the MVP this year. You can say it's on storyline, it's on narrative, whatever, but it's set up at age 44 for him to just keep on keeping on. I believe, and again, I predicted they would win every game this year. They lost at the Rams. I give you that, while he threw for 432 yards. And yet, I look down the schedule, and we'll get deeper into this later. I believe that he will win out this year. They will be the #1 seed in the NFC, and because of that, he's going to win the MVP.
Okay.
So now let's go back to what you said about LeBron James. And I give you, it is all-time great for LeBron to endure long enough, and he has been Iron Man. We've had a couple of little glitches here lately in his first year and his third year in L.A. But the point is that you have ridiculed Tom Brady as unathletic, right? Remember the worst 40-yard dash in the history of the Combine?
Yes.
Remember what he looked like in that picture that we saw when they took it? It looked like a mugshot that we saw. I don't know if we have that one or not. Oh, there he is. That's some ugly stuff right there, right?
He don't even look like Tom Brady.
Does that look like a guy who's about to go on a tear and throw 600 touchdown passes?
Nah.
Okay, so would you give him all-time overachiever?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because he's not that athletic. I think he has sweet pocket feet.
Right.
I think he has a very good arm, but not bazooka.
Skip, when you looked at it, you looked at him at Michigan, you looked at his measurables, and you looked at him going through the drills. Nothing said that I'm going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Nothing said that.
He couldn't even flat out win the job at Michigan. He's alternating, right?
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So given all that, for him to go over 600 touchdown passes has to be a 10, right? Because LeBron James is 6'9", 260 pounds. He is simply the greatest driver of the basketball, I've said this a billion times on television, that I have ever seen. In athleticism, in raw power, in explosiveness, he's in another galaxy from Tom Brady. So to me, it's much harder to throw a touchdown pass than it is to score anywhere on the basketball court for LeBron James.
Right.
And obviously, you've got to score and score and score.
Right.
But remember, Brady also, to use the flip side of what you said, he has to rely on the Shannon Sharpes of the world to actually catch good throws.
Right.
And I thought Cameron Brate dropped a touchdown pass yesterday that hit him. It was in high traffic, but it hit him right in the hands in the end zone. He dropped it. How many dropped touchdown passes in the end zone do you believe Brady has had over 20 years? I don't know. It's uncountable, but somebody might have it somewhere. Is it 100? Maybe. I don't know. Right?
But if that's the case, Skip, Peyton Manning might still have the record, and then Tom would be, or Drew Brees would. So we can't say, because other quarterbacks have dropped touchdowns also. But when you look at it, Skip, he has 5 available options, on a given play. If you do scat protection, which is everybody's out on the route.
Yeah.
He has 5 eligible receivers that can score on a given play. LeBron, it's only LeBron. How else can he score? He can either lay the ball up, but it's only 2 points or 3 points either way.
I know, but LeBron, when he was 18, was like a man among boys in the NBA. Right. So what I'm saying is, he is highly capable of scoring every time he touches the basketball. In fact, there are times I'm surprised he didn't score on that possession. So with Brady, he's just some guy. He completely overachieved to an echelon that will never be touched. And if you look at his touchdown to interception ratio just in the regular season, he's got 602 touchdown passes to only 194 interceptions.
Right.
That's a 3-to-1 ratio. And if you do players who have played over 200 games, that would be 12 of them.
Right.
He's number 1 in interception or touchdown to interception ratio. Okay.
But Rodgers get 200, he's going to blow him right away.
Well, he would. But do you think he's going to get to 600 touchdowns?
No. It's probably going to be one of these young guys, one of these Burrows, Herbert, Mahomes, somebody playing now. Because what does Rodgers have now? 430. So he's 170 behind him. Now, Skip,
and he's already 37.
Right. So, but here's the thing. Quarterbacks are playing longer. It depends on how much longer. Because Brady, theoretically, Skip, could have this thing at 700 touchdowns. If he plays as long as you think he's going to play, he could literally have it at 700 touchdowns.
Okay, so just to put this in perspective, so now he's got 363 more pass attempts than the retired Drew Brees has in second, okay? Right. And in yards, he's now 1,260 more yards than Drew Brees. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Brees had 49 more interceptions than Tom has right now. Right. So you got to give Brady.
Yeah. He's very careful with the ball.
Very
Skip.
careful.
He's very careful with the ball. No, Skip, like I said, I won't admit it because what you do with LeBron, you say, well, it's a longevity award. I'm not going to say Tom. Yes, Tom has played a long time, but he's played at a great level and an elite level. 20s, 30s, and 40s. Normally, Skip, like I said, and when we was talking about the 75th anniversary team, and everybody wants your whole career. You play 15 years and your career steadily does this.
Okay.
But that's not how a career works. It normally arcs and then peaks and then comes down.
Okay.
Tom Brady, he started like this, and he's like going, and he's like, and it's starting to go again.
And you can argue in his 40s, he was better than even in his 20s. Or now we're getting to where you can make the case he's going to be better than he was in his 30s.
Yes, he's had 2 Hall of Fame careers. He possibly headed to a third one because you look at his 20s, he had 3 Super Bowl wins in his 20s. You look at him in his 30s, he had 3 Super Bowl wins in his 30s.
Okay.
That's a Hall of Fame career in and of itself. He might be headed to another Hall of Fame career.
He might be.
He might be the first player to be an all-decade in 3 different decades, which would be absurd.
We're going to go up to 10 now on your scale?
No.
Give him a 10?
Skip.
I think you talked yourself into at least a 9.
But I'm thinking about it, Skip. If he played, let's just say for the sake of argument, for another 2 years, and he wins a Super Bowl or 2, he's going to be the all-decade quarterback of the 2020s.
Okay. Here's the most staggering stat of all. Since he arrived in Tampa Bay in the red zone, he is now 50 touchdowns to 0 interceptions.
Yes.
That's impossibly great.
Right.
Listen, week after week, Sunday after Sunday, I feel like I watch every game until my head's going to explode.
Right.
Do you know how many quarterbacks struggle on 3rd and goal from the 7 to get it in the end zone? It's hard, man, because it feels like there are 14 defenders in the end zone. You can't find your receiver in time.
The thing that if you watch Tom, when Tom missed, he misses high, the ball's going out the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Or he missed, the ball is going into the ground. He doesn't put the ball in a situation where it's going to carry him off someone's hand.
Yep.
Pops up in the air. How many times, Skip, we see the ball pop up in the air, and here comes the defender coming down with it. And that's what he does. And Skip, like I said yesterday, he was 20 or 36. It was like a small pot. He let you bluff him off of it. But when you shove major money to the middle of the table, which is the red zone, he's cashing.
Okay. Could I demonstrate for you, display for you his greatness or his goatness yesterday? Because it all happened in the first half, and he was a little hit and miss in the second half. But all the damage was done early. Could we start with the first throw to Godwin down the middle? I just thought this was virtuoso.
Okay.
If we could see this play. This is a hard throw in traffic, and he just got him right. Listen, that's a tight window that you just put it through,
that's single high safety, so you got to protect him because that safety's coming. You see it, safety's right.
It's just beautiful, and it was a very good and fearless catch.
And again, Skip, you see where the ball is? Low. Now, he throws this ball high, it's going to pop up in there.
It's going to get picked. Okay, so that sets up a play that is 3rd and goal from the 4. And watch this to Godwin, if we could, please. This is a little option route in which Brady fakes the backer off him, and he turns and back shoulders him with a bullet to the back shoulder. Listen, this is sweet now. Did you see the pump fake on the backer?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's an option route for Godwin in the middle of the field to go whichever way he wants to go. And he went the right way, and Brady hit him, and it was beautiful to see. So that's touchdown number 1. Then we go to touchdown number 2. This is for all the marbles. This is the 600th. And it's 3rd and 7 from the 9. How hard is this? 3rd and 7 from the 9? And he still converts it. Do you know what the odds are against 3rd and 7 from the 9-yard line? It's very difficult.
That was a great throw, tremendous catch by because he knows he's going to take a hit.
It was fearless.
Yes, he knows he's going to take it. He knows safety's right there on top of it.
Okay, then speaking of Mike Evans, let's go to the best deep throw of the day, which is a 46-yarder to Mike Evans, which sets up another touchdown to Mike. There's the little shot to the – here we go. This is 46 yards. This is the one deep throw he connected on to Mike. I'd say that's on the money, right?
Look, watch what he does to Eddie Jackson. He looks to his right, knowing damn well he's going to throw the ball down the left rail.
Exactly, because he had single on Eddie Jackson. He said, watch this, and I'm going to drop it right down the chimney to my man Mike Evans, who's 6 feet 5 inches tall. And Mike Evans, to his credit, hung on, and Eddie Jackson got in there and fought it all the way to the ground, okay? And that's about to set up. He did. He looked him off.
He looked scared. He know good well. He know good well he's going.
Okay, and then that's going to set up a 2-yard fade. There you see it, back shoulder, and the ball is gone before Mike Evans even begins to turn around. As soon as Mike turned, he had to catch it quick because it was on top of him. Oh, I got it.
Right.
Okay, you can't execute. It's only 2 yards, but it's
But if you look
beautiful.
at Skip, the thing is, a lot of times, look at how Brady throws the ball. Look at this. Because a lot of times guys want to put zip on it, and before the guy, like you said, he threw the ball before Mike Evans even had his head around. But he throws it at such a pace that when he gets his head around, the ball is on top of him and it's not zipped past him.
That is virtuoso. That is masterpiece. That is Pavarotti at the Sydney Opera House.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that? That was it right there. And then we got one more. We got a fourth one before halftime. And this is 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. 3rd and goal from the 8. This is hard, man. It's hard. And he steps up in the pocket and he hangs in there and hits him on the back line. Okay? And there was some traffic there in the middle of the pocket, and he knew he could get banged around. And I also want to make the point that, remember, the Bears beat the hell out of him at Chicago last year, right?
But that's a different
They didn't
team.
touch him yesterday.
Right.
They did not touch him.
The thing is that you got to collapse the pocket from within inside. So with no Akeem Hicks, now the other guys can't force him to step up in the pocket into Akeem Hicks.
Okay.
And the Bears are not very good, Skip, on either side of the ball right now.
I thought they were better on defense, but he just shredded them because he was at his best in the first half. And I will give you not in the second half, but I'm also going to remind you, he did not have his favorite red zone target, Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
He did not have his speed receivers. He had no AB and he had no little Scotty Miller. Both of them are hurt for the moment. I'm assuming they will be back sooner than later.
Right.
But remember, there's no speed on the field because the 2 Pro Bowlers that he inherited, obviously, Mike Evans and Godwin, they're not blazers.
No.
They're not separators. You know, they can't really run by you because Eddie Jackson caught up with Mike Evans very easily. But my point is, wait until they get healthy because he was doing it a little bit handicapped yesterday without AB and Scotty Miller to keep the defense honest.
Well, I just think the thing is, Skip, when you play him, your offense is going to have to put pressure on Brady as well.
Yep.
Because, and for those far, we've only seen really 2 teams do that. They 1-1. The Cowboys were able to keep pace with them, and the Rams obviously were able to keep pace and end up beating them. If you play Tom Brady and your quarterback can't stand on the field and look him eye to eye, you can't beat him because they're going to score points. And that's the thing. Tom Brady is going to force you, and that's why so many teams were able. The Patriots were able to beat so many teams because he forces you to take chances that you shouldn't take. But you know you got to match him, Skip. I know because I know that's Tom Brady. I know he's going to score on our defense. So you feel a sense of angst, and we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes, that I got to do something also.
Right. Okay. I'm also going to remind you that yesterday, despite a little bit of an off second half, there were no turnovers by Tom Brady. And guess what? His QBR led all of football in Week 7, led football at 93. So he had a better day than I think you're giving him credit for.
Well, I think the thing was, Skip, is because when you look at it, you look at the red zone and how good he was and how efficient he was in the red zone. And that's the thing, Skip. Yeah, he gonna miss. He missed passes, between the 20s. Yeah, he spraying the ball all over the field, and then all of a sudden he getting all the money is in the middle of the table. He's cashing. He's raking in pots every single time, and that's what he does really, really well. You mentioned 50 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the red zone. That'll win you a lot of games.
It'll win you a lot of games. Final point. While I have called LeBron Iron Man, he had the 2 glitches, obviously, year 1 and 3 with the Lakers. But in general, big picture, he has been Iron Man because he's had no surgeries that I'm aware of, right? No surgeries in his career. I hate to even bring this up, so I'm going to knock on wood. But remember, Brady did not play his first season because he was sitting behind Drew Bledsoe for 1 year. So that's a lost year on stats. And then, remember, he got hurt in game number 1
missed 15
in
games.
08. So he missed that year. And he did get suspended by the commissioner wrongly, I will emphasize, for 4 games.
And they wrote up a big old report.
And
everybody waiting on that big report. They writing out about the Washington football team. But we going to keep waiting on that one, Skip. I'm sure we'll discuss that when it comes out.
The point is, Brady has missed some time that could have added to this.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, he probably would have had, how many touchdowns you think? Because the early 2000s, how many touchdowns? Maybe 15, 20?
Yeah,
so he could easily be, well, if he doesn't get hurt, obviously, Skip, he's probably going to be somewhere around 650 at the bare minimum.
Okay. So Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe has upped his scale of 1 to 10 to 10, he just said that.
You know what? Let me tell you why LeBron, because LeBron have to play both offense and defense. Just think if LeBron, you know what? He make a basket, he get to go sit and rest. And then on the other end, he gets to come back in. And all he had to do was just worry about scoring.
Well, I haven't seen him play a lot of defense
Don't do that.
this year.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Not sure about defense this year so
year
far.
19, you shouldn't have expected. So you want him sitting in the chair in year 19.
Yeah. Well, what do you want? Brady to play safety in year 20?
I want him to play just one time, year 8.
In year 8. Okay, great. Shannon Sharpe says 10 yesterday for Tom Brady. Thank you.
I give him 8. If he broke this record against the Rams, he breaks it against the Cardinals or the Cowboys, Skip, the Bears are shelling themselves. And it just goes to show you, we got to stop this notion because the quarterback got drafted in the first round. Oh, he needs to play. Skip, Justin Fields, he wasn't. You can't put a guy just because he's a first rounder, just throw him to the wolves like that.
He had a rough day.
Yes. Oh, but he's learning what? How to duck.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.